They refuse to build any more roads as a ploy to get you out of your cars and into public transportation, restricting mobility. Because there is a restriction on space inside the controlled city area, there is a shortage of houses, so prices go up. That means populations will have to be controlled because now there is a shortage of land. And the third path to sustainable development we have to control is a new form of government controlled by an elite ruling class called stakeholder councils. They are mostly non-governmental organizations or NGOs who, like thieves in the night, just show up to claim their stake, to enforce their own private agendas over your property and your community. The councils are unelected, but all-powerful. They are controlled by a small minority with powerful international connections. These councils fit almost perfectly the definition of a state Soviet, a system of councils that report to an apex council and then implement a predetermined outcome. Soviets are the operating mechanism of a government-controlled economy. And that's what every community in America is marked to become under the enforcement of sustainable development. And the fourth path to sustainable development is public-private partnerships. Many public-private partnerships are nothing more than government-sanctioned monopolies in which a few businesses are granted special favors like tax breaks, the power of eminent domain, non-compete clauses, and specific guarantees for returns on their investments. That means they can use the power of government to put their competition out of business. That is not free enterprise. And public-private partnerships are taking over highways and local water treatment plants in communities across the nation and much more. It is not free enterprise, but a Mussolini-style fascism that will only lead to tyranny, and it's all driven by the Agenda 21 blueprint of sustainable development. Local communities are now being targeted by international forces, and here's how. In June of 2005, the United Nations invited mayors from around the world to attend the World Environment Day conference in San Francisco. As part of their participation, the mayors were pressed to commit to specific legislative and policy goals by signing a slate of UN accords. One of the most egregious action items offered in that document dealt with the reduction of water consumption. The UN document begins by stating, quote, cities with potable water consumption greater than 100 liters per capita per day will adopt and implement policies to reduce consumption by 10% by 2015. You must be aware that 100 liters is equal to about 26 gallons per person per day. According to the UN, each person should have less than 26 gallons each day to drink, bathe, flush toilets, wash clothes, water lawns, wash dishes, cook, take care of pets, and anything else. But according to the U.S. Geological Survey, Americans actually need about 100 gallons per day to perform these basic functions. The use of the 100 liters number versus 100 gallons is a direct attempt to mislead and actually cut water use by 75%. Other items dictated that the mayors ban, tax, regulate, and control valuable items and industries necessary to provide the tools we need to maintain our society and our standard of living. Many Americans ask why and ask how. Dangerous international policies can suddenly turn up in state and local governments, all seemingly uniform to those in communities across the nation and around the world. The answer? Meet ICLEI, the International Council on Local Environmental Initiatives, a non-profit private foundation dedicated to helping your mayor implement sustainable development in your community. In 1992, ICLEI was one of the groups instrumental in creating Agenda 21. The group's mission now is to push local communities to implement Agenda 21 policy that restructures our representative form of government through global and non-elected regional governments. And of course, ICLEI uses global warming and environmental protection as the excuse. I have a list of almost 600 American cities in which ICLEI is being paid with tax dollars from city councils to implement and enforce sustainable development. Here in Virginia, these communities include Abington, Albemarle County, Alexandria, Alta Vista, Arlington County, Blacksburg, Charlottesville, Falls Church, Frederick County, Harrisonburg, Norfolk, Roanoke and Roanoke County, and Warrenton. In each of these communities, ICLEI is being paid dues from your tax dollars as they teach your local representatives how to set up non-elected boards and councils that will dictate policy over your property, your industry, and your families, and you will have no say in how they operate. When ICLEI comes into your town, it organizes like a well-oiled machine, using a network of green experts, newsletters, conferences, and training workshops for staff and elected officials. And of course, there's money, lots of money, grants from federal and state and private sources, all with severe strings attached to enforce sustainable development policy. And here are some of the consequences once these programs and policies are enforced. High-density housing scams, traffic congestion by disallowing the building of roads, open space where access is not allowed, government partnering with favored private businesses and nonprofit organizations using your tax dollars, and mismanagement of public utilities. Prohibition on natural resources management and private property restrictions, and increased taxes, fees, regulations, and restrictions. In Oakland, California, such sustainable regulations are forcing every single homeowner to comply by dictating that they replace appliances and windows and roofs to meet strict energy use standards. The average cost per homeowner in Oakland, California is estimated to be at least $35,000. And if you don't comply, you won't be allowed to sell your home. ICLEI and others are dedicated to controlling your locally elected public officials to quietly implement any and all which is encompassing a tyranny over every community in the nation. The United States is not a global village run by elders who hand down the rules from on high. We are a nation of governments elected by the citizens. There is supposed to be discussion, debate, and disclosure so that all citizens know where, when, and why a law or regulation is being presented, and then we're supposed to vote on it. However, global forces, which do not accept the unique American form of government, sneak behind the curtain, avoiding controversy and honest debate. The only possible result would be the tyranny of a powerless electorate stripped of their rights, property, and self-determination. Mayors across the nation must be clued into the fact that ICLEI and its ilk are not their friends, rather the purveyors of a self-made crisis hysteria using fear rather than truth to impose their agenda on top-down control, sustainable development. In the name of conservation, we are experiencing a wrenching transformation of our nation into what can only lead to a new dark ages of pain and misery. As we meet here today, we must understand that we can never restore the Republic and control government if we ignore the issue of sustainable development. No matter how many rallies and tea parties we have, no matter how many people we bring out to protest, no matter how determined we are to change things in America, you will never make a difference while ICLEI is hiding down in the bowels of City Hall, turning your own community into a little Soviet. You must address this threat head on. Understand that the main battle is being fought not in Congress, but on the local level, right here. Stop efforts to create regional governments and leave your political boundaries alone. Above all, refuse federal or state money or new sustainable programs and get rid of the old ones. And if groups like ICLEI are now running things in your town, throw them out. Demand that your city council stop paying them dues. Disband anything that they have built and start looking for some high-grade tar and feathers. rooms, untouchable and unseen, is not freedom. We must understand that the so-called environmental agenda is based on lies and deceit, that sustainable development is truly a Trojan horse for a policy of tyranny, and that it is the exact opposite of limited government, free enterprise, and individual liberty. Only by stopping sustainable development and removing ICLEI from your community can you ever hope to restore the Republic. Thank you very much.
And how true. You know, he mentioned two of these communities, and I live in the middle of one and surrounded by the other with Charlottesville and Albemarle County. Now, Charlottesville, we would expect it because it's run by socialists, and we know that. But in Albemarle County, we have a board of supervisors that is supposedly conservative, brought in, swept in the last election, and they have not yet made a move to get rid of ICLEI. So it's really about education and letting people know the things that you're hearing today, telling them about it so that this popular uprising can happen and we can throw these people out of office and tell them to stop defunding our own demise.